Someone sent me a video of Brigitte Macron, Macron's wife, face slapping him. Yeah, that's wild.
Dude, my favorite is the look into the camera once he realizes I got caught. Yeah.
That's a weird relationship.
Well, she was his teacher.
If it was a she. You ever see her sit down? Watch this. This is it. I've never seen a woman sit down like this.
Is this her when she was a teacher?
Watch this. Watch how she sits down.
When Joe Rogan takes aim at Brigitte Macron, he's not just poking fun at an age gap headline or the chic image of France's First Lady. He's digging into the layers of power, ambition, and influence that make her one of the most captivating figures on the global stage. This isn't your standard tale of romance or politics. It's a look at a woman who's quietly bending the rules, reshaping the playbook, and building a legacy no one saw coming. Rogan strips away the glossy surface to reveal a strategist, a force, and a presence that commands the room without ever needing to raise her voice. The roast isn't just a punchline. It's a deep dive into a figure who's rewriting what it means to stand beside power, while holding plenty of it herself.
Imagine if the roles were reversed and the president was a female and then the husband was a teacher when the president was 15, when she was 15 and he was 40. Imagine.
Crazy.
Imagine that was in the United States. Imagine if it turned out that there's a female that's running for president, and then we start going into the history and find out that she met her husband, who's 80, when she was 15.
Joe Rogan storms into the ring with a microphone honed like a machete, set to slice through the enigma that is Brigitte Macron. From the start, the world's been fixated on this peculiar age gap romance. A tale so strange it could have been ripped from a novel. The teacher who captivated her student, now French President Emmanuel Macron. But Rogan's not here to just repeat the headline. He sees past the tabloid gloss, spotting a prime target for some unflinching razor-edged scrutiny.
But the Brigitte Macron one is the craziest because I think she's right. Obviously I don't know. But at the end of the day, the first thing you have to say is, what kind of a 40-year-old dates a 14-year-old?
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
Even if it's a woman and a...
First off, Joe locks onto the optics. Here's a woman who blew past the usual cougar cliches and straight into uncharted territory when she started dating a teenager. This isn't some quirky rom-com subplot. It's a real-life case study that makes you question just how far the French are willing to bend the rules when love and power intertwine. Rogan dives into the notion that Brigitte isn't just the First Lady, but the mastermind behind the curtain, pulling strings with a finesse that turns the whole political stage into something closer to a schoolyard chess match.
Macron's married to a man. A man who bitch slapped him in a private jet.
Oh my God. Really just, dude, his whole life he's been abused by that guy.
Face palm in his face. Oh, well, that's how liberal men sit. That's what they do. They throw their leg over. That's what guys with very small legs.
That's so funny.
But Ari sits like that, actually, because he's got them weird long legs. But like, you can sit like that. It's the way you sit down.
It's the initial get down. It's the plop.
It's the plop and then the legs spread.
But it's not just the age gap that Rogan goes after. He digs into Brigitte's entire persona. The dramatic flair, the almost mechanical precision of her public appearances, and that trademark hairstyle that practically shouts, *, class is in session. *, she radiates the energy of a no-nonsense headmistress who's ready to send anyone doubting her straight to detention. Rogan paints her as the kind of teacher who hands out extra homework purely for the satisfaction of watching you squirm. Except now that homework just happens to be deciding the fate of an entire nation.
It's phenomenal. It's like they created a monster with her. When they fired her from the Daily Wire, they created a monster.
You know, whenever I see Matt, I saw him yesterday, he's walking around, he's just super confident because he knows he's got this sweet baby gang. I'm sick of watching him walk around.
She can't be stopped.
Yeah. Oh, no. There's no stopping Candace Owens at
Because
this
she's
point.
hitting all the fucking third rails that no one wants to touch. She's got a 6-hour presentation on how Brigitte Macron is a man.
The roast doesn't stop at her persona. Rogan plunges headfirst into the rumors about her ambitions, poking at the notion that she might not be satisfied with just the title of First Lady, that maybe she's the one quietly pulling the levers of power. He spins a picture of political intrigue, suggesting that behind that flawless smile is a strategist with the patience of a chess grandmaster, subtly steering the French government like a captain at the helm, all while keeping a watchful eye on the crew to make sure they're rowing exactly to her rhythm.
Yeah. Like I could totally do it if I was a woman and they were accusing me of being a man. I'd also kind of probably be like a little bump, but a large part of me would be like, "Fuck you! I don't gotta prove anything to you."
You ever see her sit down? You ever see her sit down?
I haven't seen her sit down.
She sits down like a dude.
Then there's that unmistakable air of French elitism. Brigitte wears like a designer gown. Rogan cracks that the French prefer their baguettes crusty, their wine-aged, and their leading ladies unapologetically intimidating, and she fits the bill perfectly. He paints her as the walking embodiment of French high society, graceful, razor-sharp, and just ruthless enough to make a guillotine blush. She's the type who could level you with a death stare so precise it might have been practiced in front of a mirror, and probably has been. Rogan skewers the way she navigates the spotlight, turning it into a deep dive on the cultural friction her romance with Emmanuel sparks. A love story that doesn't just bend norms but shatters them, not only in France but across the globe. Yet he slyly hints that beneath the fairy tale gloss lies a far more calculated power dynamic, one that makes you wonder who's truly steering the ship. And when it comes to the age is just a number defense, Rogan makes it clear he's not buying it for a second.
It's hours plus long.
Brigitte Macron was actually born Jean-Michel Trogneau. Well, guess what, guys? He's missing.
Well, 1000%. She was born a man, lived as a man for 30 years, and then transitioned at some time in the 80s.
Yeah, they would sue her.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are suing her. Have they tried to file anything? They probably have.
I have welcomed the lawsuit. I mean, Emmanuel Macron sent me a threat before we published.
I'm pretty sure she's right. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I think she's right. The whole thing stinks.
Then, in true Rogan fashion, the roast takes a left turn straight into the absurd. He spins a whole alternate reality where Brigitte isn't just France's first lady. She's a covert operative in a high-stakes spy thriller, subtly steering world events with nothing more than a sly smirk and a perfectly arched eyebrow. In Rogan's hands, she morphs into a French femme fatale with a Rolodex of classified intel and a knack for playing chess on a global board. And he doesn't let her fashion choices off the hook either. Those tailored power suits? Rogan swears they could double as lightweight armor. Those razor-sharp heels? Practically concealed weapons. He jokes that when Brigitte enters a room, the temperature drops, the conversation shifts, and suddenly everyone is speaking in subtitles. Memes and jokes about the couple's age gap flood social media, Rogan notes, but in focusing on the punchlines, people miss the bigger, sharper picture, the calculated influence, the high-wire political maneuvering, and the sheer gravitational pull of her presence. Maybe, he suggests, the real story isn't the years between them, but the unprecedented political tag team they've become. A partnership so potent, most of the world hasn't realized they're watching history being quietly rewritten.
Someone's just saying, I look forward to it. Great. And she's saying, for the first time, I'll get to sit across from Brigitte Macron at a deposition and hear her asked about her penis. That's what Candace's I think that's a direct quote. And it's never happened before. So she's not backing down one bit. And it is reckless for the Macrons to sue Candace Owens for defamation.
As the roast rolls on, Rogan dives into Brigitte's curious position in France's tug-of-war between tradition and progress, pointing out the delicious contradictions. A woman who shatters convention with an unconventional marriage, yet fiercely upholds the old guard with her regal presence and strict adherence to protocol. To him, she's the ultimate paradox. A rebel draped in establishment silk. Rogan doesn't just poke at her politics. He drills into the whispers about her influence over Macron's policies. Is she the quiet voice nudging agendas forward, or the iron fist inside the velvet glove? He paints her as both anchor and storm, a partner capable of grounding the president while secretly steering the ship toward her own ambitions. Then comes the image game, those choreographed smiles, perfectly timed appearances, and PR polish so flawless it feels engineered. Rogan imagines an elite squad of image consultants working around the clock to ensure Brigitte remains untouchable. Her every public moment a calculated move in a much larger chess match. By the end, he's not just roasting. He's speculating on legacy. Will she be remembered as the icon who redefined the role of First Lady for the modern world? Or the enigmatic force pulling the levers in the shadows, subtly scripting France's political destiny? Rogan leaves the verdict hanging in the air. laced with both suspicion and an undeniable respect for the layered, unshakable persona she's built.
We let it slide. Like, he still gets to go to the meetings and shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
You know, he still gets to go to these fucking things where all the world leaders get together. He's hanging out with them like normal.
Wait, what's also funny to me is you're probably going to get in more heat for calling her a man than she will for slapping the prime minister.
No, she's catching heat.
Yeah.
I think, and also Candace, if she's right, and it seems like they're not suing her.
In trademark Rogan style, the roast sidesteps lazy jabs and instead digs into the contradictions, subtleties, and calculated power moves that make Brigitte Macron such a compelling enigma. It's less about tearing her down and more about stripping away the polish to reveal the steel spine beneath the silk. By the time he drops the mic, the image left behind is of a woman both formidable and mysterious, someone who commands attention not just for her position, but for the quiet, relentless influence she exerts in a world that craves bold, unconventional leaders. Rogan doesn't ease up. He knows that roasting Brigitte means going deeper than age gaps or trademark hairstyles. This is about raw power, strategic influence, and a living paradox. A figure who embodies the grace of old-school French sophistication while standing at the forefront of a new, unapologetically audacious era. It's like uncorking a vintage wine in a modern bottle. You think you know the flavor, but every sip manages to catch you off guard.
Leads me to the lawsuit by Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron against Candace Owens. So Candace will have a measure of protection. She's being sued for defamation by the First Lady and President of France because she has said that Brigitte Macron is actually a man who's posing as a female and posing as, having been a female for years, and that she has a penis, to put it bluntly. And this, I could be, I could be wrong, but it's definitely a comment on a public figure and more of a measure of private behavior. You could argue it's a big fraud on the people of France.
Joe shifts focus to Brigitte's mastery of the relentless French media spotlight, noting that while most political spouses prefer to fade into the background, she charges straight into the flames, often fanning them with blunt remarks or flashes of impatience. To Rogan, this isn't the behavior of a ceremonial first lady. It's the stance of a political force determined to shape her own narrative. The much-discussed age gap, he points out, is more than gossip fodder. It's a metaphor for her knack for shattering norms and redefining what's possible. Instead of dodging controversy, she's turned it into a personal brand, an emblem of fearless confidence in a world that tends to punish bold women. Rogan digs into how she carries this presence beyond France's borders, navigating international diplomacy not as a silent partner, but as a strategic player who understands power's subtleties. In his roast, he envisions her blending charm with steely resolve, the kind of combination that wins respect and sparks wariness in equal measure. And with his signature edge, he jokes that world leaders probably think twice before underestimating the woman who didn't just marry one of France's youngest presidents. She helped make him the figure he is today.
Woman that he's married to, even if it's a man. The real problem is they had a relationship when Macron was 15 and she was 39. That by itself is wild, because if it was the opposite, everybody would be up in arms.
But still, there will be a very, very high standard either way for the Macrons to win on a defamation case against Candace Owens. They say that they sent her a letter in December saying, you better take down those claims.
Joe then steers the roast into the cultural weight of Brigitte's role. In a political world where spouses are often treated like set pieces, she stands as a glaring exception, a woman who insists on being seen and heard entirely on her own terms. Her presence alone challenges the status quo, and Rogan marvels at how she can be both a creation of her environment and a disruptor of it at the same time. He doesn't gloss over the criticism either. Joe points out that Brigitte faces backlash from those who think she's too controlling, and from others who question the roots of her influence. But in his eyes, those critiques are proof of her potency. When you're shaking centuries-old traditions and churning political waters, someone's bound to get splashed. And Brigitte? She does it with unapologetic flair. Rogan also dips into the imagined personal side, wondering about the dynamics behind the public image. He sees her fashion not as vanity, but as armor, each outfit carefully selected as a statement of intent. Her heels, he jokes, aren't just for style. They look like the kind of footwear that could puncture a rival's ego on impact. Her style, like her presence, is bold, deliberate, and impossible to overlook.